Daniel here, and in today's lesson, we're going to go over cables and DIs. How important are cables and DIs? Well, they're the catalyst between performer and sound engineer. It's like the highway, the transit system between performer, audio engineer, and then out to loudspeakers to audience. So cables and DIs are very important. So we're going to talk about them and kind of just the principles behind them and how they work so that you could have a better idea of what's going on from performer to your console to loudspeaker to audience. So the first type of cable we're going to talk about today is an XLR cable. An XLR cable is a balanced cable. It has three independent lines running through it, a hot, neutral, and a ground. If you look at an XLR cable, you will see that the ends are different. Signal only runs one direction through an XLR cable, except for one application, and that is phantom power. Basically, the male end sends the signal and the female end receives the signal. The really cool thing about an XLR cable is that there is no loss of signal strength. So you could literally have hundreds of feet of cable without any loss of signal. When a transducer like a microphone or a DI sends a signal into the female end of the cable, the XLR cable actually receives two signals. They are the same signal but split, and one side is flipped 100% out of phase. So the hot pin sends the direct signal, the neutral sends the inverted signal, and the ground eliminates noise. When we plug the other end of the mic cable into a preamp, the signal is flipped back into 100% phase, meaning the signal is doubled in amplitude. It is because of this feature that we could run an XLR hundreds and hundreds of feet and still have no loss or noise added to it. The next type of cable we're going to talk about is a 1/4-inch cable. A 1/4-inch cable is a TS cable. If you look at a 1/4-inch cable, there is a tip and a sleeve. A TRS cable is also called a 1/4-inch cable. TRS stands for tip, ring, sleeve. A TRS cable is a balanced cable because, like an XLR cable, it has a hot, neutral, and a ground. A TS cable is an unbalanced cable because it only has two lines running through it, a hot and a neutral. There is no ground in an unbalanced cable. Unbalanced cables generally start to lose signal around 30 feet in length. Within about 80 feet, there is almost no signal at all. So a TS cable is also called an instrument cable or a guitar cable. It is used for electronic instruments like keyboards, guitars, basses, and even some acoustic guitars. If you look at a 1/4-inch cable, you will see that the ends are the same. Also, unlike an XLR cable, signal runs both ways through this cable. To send signals from an instrument cable long distances, like to your console, we use little boxes called DIs. DIs stand for direct input, and its main function is to turn an unbalanced signal into a balanced signal so that we can eliminate noise and send the signal longer distances. There are many different types of DIs, and each one has a specific application. We are going to be talking about the three different types of DIs in this lesson. The first type of DI we're going to talk about today is a passive DI. Passive DIs do not need to be powered by batteries or phantom power. Passive DIs consist of transformers that perform impedance matching and balancing, and that's about it. Passive DIs are very simple in their construction. The second type of DI we're going to talk about today is an active DI. Active DIs need a power source either through batteries or phantom power. An active DI includes a preamplifier for a stronger signal and higher input impedance. Active DIs are great for low-level signals such as an acoustic or bass guitar. They could be very quiet and transparent tonally. The third type of DI I want to talk about is a stereo DI. So a stereo DI could either be active or passive. The difference between this is that it literally has two inputs and outputs. So it's like a dual DI for a stereo input, like let's say a keyboard. So as you can see, cables and DIs play a very important role in what we do. Well, thanks again for joining us today, and I will see you in the next video.